Empaths understand people's pain, joy, and everything in between. They have big hearts and choose to spare the feelings of others at all costs. So, with such ideal traits, why are there so many empaths left lonely in this world? Well, the simple answer is that most empaths seem intimidating from the outside looking in. But why exactly is that? Welcome, or welcome back, Psycho. Today we'll be discussing exactly why people find most empaths intimidating. But before we get into the video, have you liked and subscribed to our channel? Go ahead, we'll wait for you. Be sure to click the notification bell while you're there so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into it, starting with number 1. They can be intense. The first and foremost reason that most people can't quite connect with empaths is because they simply don't understand how they can feel things so deeply, especially when it comes to the emotions of other people. Besides the fact that their empathetic ability can easily freak people out, empaths carry a sense of intensity in their energy that can sometimes be sensed by others. This intense energy can be enough to make people hesitate when it comes to approaching or getting to know the deep introspective individual. Although most empaths probably know this about themselves on some level, they aren't too apologetic about this intense energy because they have no interest in necessarily impressing others or fitting in. They either attract people who are willing to see through that intensity, or they happily move on. Number 2, they can see right through dishonesty. Speaking about easily freaking people out with their empathetic abilities, empaths have a keen sense of seeing right through BS of any sort, which can definitely have some people questioning how they know what they know. People can easily feel intimidated around an empath because they're able to notice things about people that others are completely oblivious to. Once someone witnesses an empath catching someone lying or being dishonest with no clear-cut evidence, they can begin questioning what the empath knows about them that they don't want them to know. Luckily, while it may look like empaths can read minds, most empaths use body language, change in tone, eye movement, and energy to determine if someone is being distrustful. However, it takes a good amount of time to get to know an empath to see how their lie detector really works, something most people aren't willing to do. Number 3, they are attentive. While some people are put off by an empath's intense energy, others can be intimidated by the amount of attentiveness an empath brings to their connections and conversations. In fact, one of the greatest abilities of the empath is the way they can attentively listen and ask the right questions to encourage a positive outcome to other people's most pressing issues in life. However, in today's age, people aren't exactly used to other people being all ears, fully focused on what they're talking about. Instead, people are used to half-thought-out answers and only partial attention spans. So when a conversation with a genuinely caring empath, people can become suspicious. People may even start to question if the empath has ulterior motives behind wanting to help, which can lead to them stop wanting to talk to the empath altogether. Number 4, they're very independent. Although almost all empaths would agree that their level of empathy feels like a calling to help all humans for the rest of their lives, most of them know that, in reality, they are quite introverted and independent people in their private life. Empaths require a significant amount of time alone to rest, recharge, and process their emotions without being interrupted by the absorbed energies of others. Although people who have known an empath for a long time would totally understand their need for solitude, it can be a difficult point to get across to newly established connections and relationships. The high value empath places on their independence can seem to others like they're making excuses to distance themselves, when in reality they won't be themselves without it. In fact, independence alone can be extremely intimidating to people who feed off the energy of others to feel whole, because naturally they will want to spend more time together than the independent individual. Number 5, they speak their exact thoughts. Empaths are honest, and honesty is intimidating for a lot of people. Highly empathetic people never shy away from the truth because they honor honesty as one of their core life values. They are never afraid to face the truth even when it's painful because they know that dishonesty will never go unnoticed for long. And while calling it like they see it may seem like an honorary trait to have, especially when honesty is delivered in the most empathetic way possible, many people can see honesty as a threat in some way. The main reason for this is because people are so used to living with an ignorance is bliss attitude that genuine honesty can become extremely off-putting as they've become so used to the comfort of deceit. Aside from the unfiltering honesty that empaths choose to communicate with, they may even ask people personal questions that they are curious about, which oftentimes can make others feel particularly vulnerable and maybe even uncomfortable. In other words, the straightforwardness and openness of a true empath can feel intrusive and unfamiliar, especially for someone who an empath is particularly suspicious about. Number 6. They can be unpredictable. Empaths, for the most part, know exactly what they want and exactly what they don't want on a grand scale. They often have a great set of morals and interests that give them a general idea of where they're heading in life, leaving the finer details for them to work out when the time comes. The intimidating aspect of this empath trait is that they don't necessarily need factual evidence to move on from or move towards certain situations and people. Their highly intuitive sensitivities for their surroundings can give them unwavered feelings towards certain aspects of their lives, where they know they need to make moves regardless of how it seems from the outside looking in. Although their empathy for others can put a damper on their plans, empaths will almost always follow their gut feelings that guide them to the necessary experiences. Number 7. They can be too nice at times. Similar to attentiveness, kindness is one of those things that everyone wants from others, but when it comes, we tend to become very suspicious. This is something an empath knows all too well. While some people are able to accept random acts of kindness with open arms, most people don't have that remaining trust within the world or the people in it. Most people believe that if someone is doing something nice for them, they either expect something in return or they're going to use that favor against them in the long run. So when an empath attempts to lend a hand or go out of their way for someone else, it's no surprise when people are left wondering, what's the catch? Ironically, being nice can be intimidating and questionable for some people, and most empaths know this firsthand. And number 8, they require a healthy level of intimacy. In an empath connection, intimacy is non-negotiable, so it goes without saying that once an empath feels safe enough to really let down their guard and grow with someone, whether it be romantically or platonically, they are not afraid for the other person to see their vulnerable state. However, they do expect the same in return. The tricky thing is that most people hold their true vulnerable selves deep within and are almost foreign to the feeling of really being emotionally intimate on a deep level. Therefore, when an empath comes along and expects the same amount of vulnerability that they're willing to give, people actually become discouraged that they'll be able to keep up with being so open. These deeply intimate expectations can be enough for people to begin questioning if this is the type of connection they want, as most people aren't ready for something that authentic. Well, that's it for today's Psychos. So, if you're an empath, have you ever felt intimidating? If so, comment which reason you related to most down below. Don't forget to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more Psycho videos.